All right, I think that we are live. Good evening.
Okay.
Good evening.
Good evening. Great to see you.
It is so great to have you. See, I'm excited. Tonight we get to talk with Dr. Saecilia Jackson. She is one of our speakers for PurposeCon Young Leaders Academy. And Cecilia, tell me, oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Jackson.
Oh no, just call me. You know we're on first name basis, so no worries.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I started from very, very humble beginnings. Isn't it how most people start the conversation? But no, seriously, I am from Gulfport, Mississippi, born and raised with a few spots here and there because my dad was in the military traveling to, California, living there for a few years and then but eventually settling back in Gulfport where I was born and continuing on with my, primary, secondary education. And so after graduation, I had this idea of, okay, what did I want to do? Where did I want to go? So I initially attended Dillard University in New Orleans, Louisiana, only an hour away. As we know, most private schools, including this particular private HBCU, wonderful school, but it was so expensive. So I said, okay, what am I going to do? And I wanted to do pre-med because I said I wanted to be a medical doctor. And I quickly changed that to business after looking at all the sciences that I had to take. So I segued over to South Alabama because it was one of my choices because they have a great medical program. And it was one of the top three schools that I had listed along with Xavier and Dillard. And so went to South Alabama. Of course, it's a public institution, so definitely costs a lot less. And finished that program there in business with a concentration in marketing. Then I said, okay, what do I want to do next? I don't want to stay in Alabama. I want to go somewhere where I feel that I could be successful. So I ended up moving to Metro Atlanta, Georgia. And at that time, it was definitely the, kind of like the circus, the most wonderful place on earth, because you're thinking that, I'm moving to a city that's larger, more opportunities, things like that. And so started working for-profit institutions like the University of Phoenix, Corinthian colleges, which are no longer in existence, Corinthian colleges, and really started getting my feet wet with education. And I got to the point to where I said, okay, let me go ahead and go back to school. So I ended up getting my master's in management and started working out in the field, marketing, business type positions, and worked as a marketing manager for over 10 years for the likes of like Sony, Samsung, and Panasonic. And I said, okay, there's a glass ceiling. I'm really not doing anything that's fulfilling me. What do I want to do? I'm here on this earth for a purpose. I knew that God had a plan for me. And I said, why not use my expertise, my knowledge in marketing and business and go into education? By that time, my kids were real, real little. And I was in the midst of pursuing my PhD program. So like I said, I didn't want to become a medical doctor, but I became a doctor of philosophy, a lot less time, but still a lot of work. With that being said, I started working in education about 10 years ago and finished up my PhD in public policy administration. I knew that I wanted to be in a position where I could focus on civics, law, educational policy, some of those areas that were really, really important to me. And so started teaching at the high school level, 9th through 12th grade marketing, and also connected with a local technical college and started teaching at the college level, business law. So just over the years, that has been my background, teaching business, different facets of marketing, and to the point where now, of course, being able to continue on that path and really, really hone in on the standards and the topics that are needed for our youth today to really be successful in college and career ready. That is my ultimate focus for the past 10 years, and I know will continue to be, is to have them college and career ready and to understand the aspects of entrepreneurship and just the different opportunities that are available to them. It's very vast. And so that's where I am right now in my career path.
So you've done some amazing work. You've got an amazing background, and I am definitely proud of you. I when I think about it, I know you said that you weren't feeling fulfilled, but you knew that God had a purpose for you. Do you ever look back and think that, God kind of orchestrated your steps or ordered your steps, even from going like making the decision to leave Dillard and
Mhm.
then go on to the next college? Did you feel like he was moving you?
I definitely do because it was, very emotional because I wanted to stay where I was. We know that Dillard is a historically Black college and university, and it was a place that I really, really treasured and I wanted to stay. But I knew that, okay, I had to do what was best for myself and my family financially at that time. But also, I knew that I was going to be in the right direction. And how you know that it's God that took me to the place where I was able to transfer as efficiently as I did was because literally a week before it was time to start back school, when I realized I couldn't go back to Dillard, I reached out to South Alabama. My parents took me to Mobile, which is where South Alabama is located, and I literally did not have any information with me except I think I may have had my report card or something from back then, 20 something years ago. It was a little bit different, but I think I may have had my report card and went into the admissions office, had told them I had filled out an application, a year prior. And they said they would have to let me know, school was getting ready to start. They had already gone through the deadlines for admissions. Literally, when I pulled up at my house, driving from an hour away, the phone rang. And, back then, of course, in 98, all we had were landlines. I mean, some people had cell phones, of course, but it wasn't in abundance.
Mm-hmm.
And picked up the phone and it was South Alabama calling saying that I had been officially admitted and I was good to go. So it was nothing but God because that transition, I was literally, my heart was hurting because I was one of those type of students that I wasn't going to miss a beat. Like I couldn't be out of school a semester, like it had to be continuous. And so for me to be able to literally transition just like that and start school literally within the next couple of days was amazing. So it was definitely God, holding my hand and guiding me through that process.
And that also speaks to favor, because we serve a God who favors us, right? And so you definitely had favor on your life in that instant. And so that's amazing. And just that
Yes.
you can give the testimony of how he just opened the door. And then I'm just assuming that, he just continued to open doors after that. But just to know that you had that favor on your life and in that moment. So now we've transitioned from doing, going for the medical degree, and now we're into business and what are some things that you think that when it comes to business and entrepreneurship and for children specifically or young adults specifically, that how would you align it biblically? Like what would you say that they have to remember when they're thinking about the process of becoming an entrepreneur or even going into business?
I think that they really have to think about the fact that being an entrepreneur or being in the business of entrepreneurship does not mean that you're never going to have to answer to anyone. God is going to, of course, be the main person that you answer to. And then here on earth, there are going to be times when you have to collaborate, when you have to get advice, when you have to go out and seek that loan possibly for your business. Things like that. And by having that faith, that's very, very important because you can lose faith being in the realm of entrepreneurship, especially being a young adult. Young adults are dealing with so many different areas of just a lot of things that are constantly in their face because they have the use of social media. Everything is current and up to date in terms of being in real time for them. So it's not like they have that time to breathe and really reflect like we did X amount of years ago. It's to the point now to where everything is rushed, so they feel like they have to make a decision now. But it's okay to take a step back and reflect and look at certain things and realize that, okay, I can take a break. And what I mean by that is that letting students know that these are the avenues that they have. One thing in education I think is very important with teaching our students is that everybody is not cut out to go to college. And one thing that I teach my youth is that just because I have a certain degree does not mean you're going to go out and get that type of degree, nor does it mean that I'm beneath you or any less than you. Yes, I may know certain things that you may not know, but that doesn't mean that you can't strive to reach the goals that you want to reach. And by walking hand in hand with God and understanding that he's going to be the person that's going to lead you to the mountaintop and that he's going to be your protector, regardless of what is going on, is very, very important. And in the realm of entrepreneurship, you got to realize that there's going to be times when you feel like you let yourself down, you let others down, but just know that resources are abundant. The resources in God, the faith that you have, but also here on earth, utilizing the resources and the networking opportunities that you may have available to you. Doing your market research is very important. That's one thing that I really focus on, is teaching them how to research, understanding the process of doing that, gathering data and analyzing that data, and then being able to find whatever themes or solutions you may need to find for any type of results that you may be seeking. So entrepreneurship, I think with our youth, is letting them know that you have different avenues that you can go. And it's not just focused on you getting a degree. It could be a trade. It could be you really taking professional development courses, attending workshops, really getting those hands-on skills that are going to be useful for you in the real world. And I really love the fact that many schools, particularly secondary schools, are putting a lot more focus in trades. And a lot different from where we came from, being in southern Mississippi, where they didn't really hone in on those skills that you may have needed, those business and marketing skills. We always had business and marketing teachers, but it was considered vocational in a sense, like this is for those that may want to pursue it if they have no other avenues. But that's not the case anymore. This is for people, even if they have some type of I guess you would say, desire to pursue careers that are known to everyone, engineering, becoming a medical doctor, becoming a lawyer. Those are the staples that most people state. But knowing that you still need those skill sets, you still need to know how to talk to people, you still need to know how to have those soft business skills that are important when it comes to just everyday tasks. It's not just you working for someone, being an employee, but even as an entrepreneur, that is very important. And those are the types of things that I like to teach our youth. So that way they understand that there's many different roads that you can take. But my goal is to teach you how to be career ready, regardless of which path you decide to take.
Well, what's good too, I was just thinking about a couple of things that you said, but one, I was just thinking how, with the entrepreneurship and the different roads that they can take, one path could honestly just be, they could be just a business leader. Mm-hmm. And so for PurposeCon, what we want to help them to understand that even as a business leader, that they can have their faith in that environment. And so we're trying to figure out, how can we intersect faith with business, right? Obviously it all works together. There's no real I know we have separation of church and state, or church and school, and all of these things, but really it does intersect. It does work together. All things work together for the good of them who are called them and who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And so, if let's say that they're not called necessarily to go to college, but if they feel like they want to start a business, they can easily go get a certificate in entrepreneurship. They have those now. They can get a certificate in leadership. They have those now. Those are things that they didn't necessarily have when we were younger, which was not that long ago. But so but there are different avenues, there are different approaches, and even like they need all of the soft skills like you were talking about. They need those to just maneuver throughout life in itself, and then also in the different business industries. One great thing about the conference too is that we're going to have people there, we're going to have speakers there specifically for the adults, but that are going to be coming from those corporate industries that are working for the JCPenney's of the world, or have worked for the Yum brands of the world, and they are like hardcore in their faith. And, and because of God, it's moved them through, from each position to each position, and they've been very successful. But I believe that God strategically plants his believers in these different places, right? We need to be in every spot. But anyway, I get off on a tangent when I think about that. But the other thing I was thinking about was when you talked about how everything has to be done so quickly. The young people have everything thrown in their face and everything has to happen fast. And I was thinking about when we were in school, I don't know if you remember the show called Star Search.
Yes. Ed McMahon, yep.
So you think about the times that we sat in front of the TV watching Star Search, wishing that we could go on there, or and I feel like there was somebody we knew from school that went on there, Jenny, somebody. But anyway, but think, oh, it would be great if we could go on there, and then maybe I could get found one day and I'll become famous. The kids have it so easy, much easier now. All they have to do is do a TikTok, right? And then so it's different. It's different. It's the same idea, the same concept, but a different mechanism. And so we have to work within that confine, but also help them to see that even though we might have had something different, or it might have seemed a little slower or took a little bit longer for us, that it's still the same process. And so I love that you teach marketing. I love that you teach, career development and preparation, because they really need all of this, because I don't know how many times I've gone to, I was about to get on a tangent. I don't know how many times I've gone somewhere and someone is working that has no soft skills, has no customer service. And I just have to say this has nothing to do with the conference, but I went somewhere the other day and I gave the young lady cash and I gave her change, and she had already typed in and shut the register.
She didn't know how to give it back to you to give you the even change.
My bill was $17.02. I gave her $20.25. And she was struggling. She said, well, I can't do it. I already typed it in. And I said, you can do it. And she was like, no, I can't. I said, no, you really can. Just, you don't need a computer. You don't need it. I said, just think about it, and then finally she figured it out. She was like, man, I was sweating over here. And I'm just like, no, have we failed you all?
It's not all their fault. I will tell you that they're teaching them different kinds of math than they, and sometimes the parents are relying on the fact that their children are going to school learning the principles that they learned, that they learned, and they figure that their children are learning the same thing, but they're doing all different kinds of math. So part of it is them, because that's something too that the employer should be teaching. It's not all on our young adults. It's the employer too. Businesses have to stay current with past trends and ways that things were done, to make sure that in case, let's just say, the power goes out. And like you just gave her money, and is she able to give that back to you without the use of the electronic point of sale system? So, things like that you think about. So businesses also have to prepare their employees for that. So it's two ways, even though a lot of the onus is on, the employees, i.e. the young adults, when they're working in these types of roles.
And so see, in all of that, and I was just patient with her, I didn't get angry. I wanted her to do it because I didn't want her to feel like she couldn't do it. I didn't want to hear her say, I can't. I mean, of course she said it, but I was like, you can do this. I promise you. I promise you, you know how to add and subtract and all of the things. Just try to figure it out. But yeah, so I just, I'm excited about PurposeCon. I'm excited about the people that are coming, and the 13 to 17-year-olds, that they're going to get to learn some important, not just life skills, but they're also going to get some career skills and some entrepreneurship skills. And so for the 13 to 17-year-olds, the topic, I came up with this the other day, so this will be news to you, but the topic of the day is the making of an entrepreneur. And so the way that we've shifted the whole day and the way it's laid out, with your topic that fits in, it all just kind of aligns. And so the end of the day, they will kind of see what that looks like to be an entrepreneur. So I'm excited for them. I just want them to come.
Yes, we definitely want them to come out. You're going to get someone who's been, I have over 20 years of marketing and business experience. So like they say with most educators who teach career technical courses, we come from industry. So this is not new to me. This is something that I breathe, eat, and live. And, thankful to God that I'm still able to continue on, because, being in education is no easy feat, I will tell you, because we're constantly looking at areas of improvement, areas that we can help every student. And when you don't reach certain students, it can be, really, really become, worrisome, in the sense that you have to pray about it. You have to go to God and seek his guidance for things that you sometimes can't even control. And that's why it's so near and dear to me that to always focus on our youth, specifically the age range that we're going to be focusing on at PurposeCon, 13 to 17-year-olds, because I will tell you, the greatest feeling is to have students come back to you and tell you thank you for just your help, thank you for your guidance. Your class was the one class that I appreciated because it really taught me those life skills, or it taught me ways that I could be successful currently, not waiting to 10 years down the road when I'm older. So those are the types of things that really, really warm your heart. And to this day, I have many connections with students who have graduated and have gone on to do various things, go into the military, be an entrepreneur, go to college, and then beyond that, go to grad school. So it's very, very rewarding to see that. But I do want to say too that it's even rewarding seeing those students who are able to make those hard decisions for themselves and say, hey, I'm not going to college, but I am going to focus on starting that business, and really asking me to be kind of like a reference for them when they're trying to go out and apply for a grant or whatever it may be. So things like that are very, very, like I said, near and dear to me, because it lets me know that I did something right, and that, that it's meaningful and it's purposeful. And that's the reason why I get up each and every day and do what I do. To the point sometimes, and you know how it is, just being in the faith and in the bosom of God, it's kind of like it's never a day off. And for me, with God, it's never a day off. And it's definitely never a day off when it comes to the focus of career development and employability, and teaching our youth about entrepreneurship and ways that they can be successful. And that's, how I feel each and every day.
Well, I appreciate you. And the one thing that I want to add before I ask you the final question, but the one thing I want to add is that I know that sometimes people might feel like there's no room for God or their belief system or their faith in what they're trying to do. But when we build it on that firm foundation, when we build our businesses, and when we go into entrepreneurship, especially for the 13 to 17-year-old who, they go to church, they believe in God, they have faith in their life, they've seen their parents, worship and praise God, and they want to have those same principles in their life. I think is really important to show them, from that age, that, hey, it's okay to take your faith into what you're doing. Listen, Chick-fil-A, we always use them as an example, but they're the truth, and they're a great example. You need someone that you can look to, so you can say, okay, they did it and they did it well, so we can do it too. Chick-fil-A is not open on Sundays, no matter how much people moan and groan and complain and make jokes and memes and everything else. They still have not changed their business model. Yes, people laugh and say, oh, they're going to pray over your chicken. Well, you know what? That might have been the only food they got prayed over for you this week. So you should be happy that they prayed over.
Exactly.
But they stay true to their beliefs in their business. Are we coming to, when we come to Chick-fil-A, is it a whole praise session and worship? And are we hearing preaching? No. But do we know who they believe in? Yes. Why do we know that? Because in how you don't see people jumping over the counter at you, getting angry with you and taking pictures because you didn't hand them their Big Mac. Their chicken sandwich.
So you just told on yourself.
But there's a difference, and it's because when we are Christian entrepreneurs, our faith is not just within ourselves. It extends to our customers, and it extends to our employees. And so as entrepreneurs, I want them to know, the Young Leaders Academy, to know that you can incorporate your faith in what you're stepping out to do. Whether it's there are organizations now, and when I started planning this conference, I started learning a lot more than I knew that was out there. But there are organizations that are established just to help those that are believers that are in corporate positions as CEOs and presidents and vice presidents. So there's an amazing network of people that are out there to help believers and to encourage them and inspire them and to keep them going as they're going through their process. And then another thing you'll learn at PurposeCon is there's capital. There is capital specifically for Christian businesses. I bet you didn't know that. I didn't, until a couple of years ago. And so, but there are people out there that are looking specifically for Christian businesses to invest in. And so the kids will have an opportunity to see that there are people that want to pour into them. And so my final question to you is, who do you think should come to PurposeCon, and tell them why they should come?
Okay, so we need all of our youth to bring your A game. And when we say bring your A game, we don't mean come prepared with any specific marketing plan, business plan. We need you at PurposeCon today. The reason why is because we understand that you are ready to get the ground working with your boots on, and you're ready to build your entrepreneurship skills. It's very, very important. We know that you're about making money, but making money in God's light. And what we mean by that is Psalm 23 is my verse. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. I believe that each and every day. And you will never want for anything by understanding and being under God's grace. And so today is your day, youth. We need our young adults, because guess what? You're our future. You're the ones that are going to be running not only where you currently live, but this country. And we need you to understand that these are the ways and the things that you can do to be successful. And so we look forward to seeing you at PurposeCon and having a great time, having fun, and understanding the Word of God. So see you there.
Amen. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sign up. Where do I sign up? Well, thank you, Dr. Saecilia Jackson, for joining.
Thank you, Prophetess. We appreciate everything, and look forward to seeing everyone very soon.
All right. Well, bye, everyone, and thank you for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.